Yes, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. So I know this conversation is going to just go. I think that there's not going to be a lack of like what we could say in 40 minutes to an hour. So I have a couple questions just to like spur conversation. If we don't get to them, we don't get to them. First of all, thank you ladies for being here. And the reason that sparred this conversation was really Mental Health Awareness Month, right? May was Mental Health Awareness Month. I know, happy June 1st, everybody in Facebook land. I know it's June 1st. And sometimes it just works out that way, right? We get inspired by something, we put things together, and then my timing is everything. And so we really wanted to give you ideas of humans that are in the community, partners that are in the community, and maybe just different modalities that can assist you, enhance your energy, your emotional wellness. Because if you enhance or raise your vibration, if you will, your physical health, your financial health, your spiritual health will all raise with your emotions. And that's really what we've been talking about, what I have been talking about with you since I have come on in February. So I am so excited for this conversation. And I have amazing, beautiful women. So if you could just go around the round table and introduce yourself. And I know you guys have a variety. Let's just say there's a lot of hats in this umbrella of goodness that you guys all share and carry, right? Yes, Carrie, look at
sombrero.
She has a lot underneath her hat. I love it.
It's a sun hat. It's not a sombrero. It just looks like a sombrero on camera.
I know.
I think it is a beautiful sun hat. And if I was able to be in sun right now, I would just shine like that with you. No worries. If you could just introduce yourself, and we're going to start with you, Bridget, because you're my top left. I just start with left. And just one thing that people come to you for, or maybe just one problem that you help people solve the most. Introduce yourself. Where are you tuning in from? And maybe one problem that people come to you the most for help with.
Okay. So my name is Bridget Riggs. I'm from Tampa, Florida. And I created my own business called Finding Coherence because I had Hashimoto's in 2012 and I went down the medical path and that didn't work for me. So I eventually quit my job to find the answers, and I did. And I actually healed my body. I no longer take Synthroid, and my blood work came back May 2020, no longer having the disease. So now I've been researching how to get the word out and to share. And basically I focus on mental, emotional, and physical bodies that we have, and the energy that is around us, in us, on us, when we go into a room, the different energies that we get from different people. So I make people more aware and question basically where are you at, and kind of measure, because I am a scientist. I have a master's degree in molecular biology, and I've used it to help me kind of do my own research, because the doctors know what they know, but there's so much more that they don't know, and energy work is really where it's at. So basically, gosh, one thing would be to be aware of your emotions. I study a 3,000-year-old practice called Jin Shinjutsu, and you have 5 different emotions. You got worry, fear, anger, sadness, trying too hard, or efforting. And these can be balanced simply by just holding your finger and doing some breath work. I add in a bunch of other different concepts and theories in to further enhance it, because if I was able to heal my body, I believe anyone can heal their body. They just have to know a few tools, but it is daily work that you need to do. And it's the time that you invest in yourself that can change not only your body, yourself, but in turn, it will change the family around you, your friends, and I'm hoping eventually the world. So that's my little intro, I guess.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I don't really think that we realize, Bridget, like you just expressed to everybody and just shared to everybody that, and I post it, and I know everybody here knows, but just as a reminder, our body is amazing. And if we give it the tools, it can heal itself.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy.
It is so true. Right, ladies? Right? Yeah. I just feel like if you there's just so much to it. And I know that your science background really helps you research all the things and really we've had this conversation. I'm like, that does not light me on fire. Going to the library and getting 63 books does not light me on fire. I want a Bridget.
Yep.
So if that is just, if you have, or you are dealing with this, there's a lot of things that resonate with me with Hashimoto's. I have experienced thyroid issues. I no longer take thyroid medicine, because I do other things as well. But absolutely game changing with just the brief knowledge that I have since meeting you and seeing you in a virtual dinner party. Like I'm just so grateful that you were put in front of me, and I will continue to learn from you and all your research that you've already done to help me.
Awesome.
This is why we're at a round table, right? What does she know that I don't know that can assist me, right?
Yeah.
Shorten that bridge to our health, right? All right. Thank you so much, Bridget. That was amazing. Miss Jessica, if you can go next.
Yeah. So if you see me kind of looking over, I'm just trying to keep track of the comments, or just, if anybody is tuning in. So don't mind me. I'm here and present. So I work as an energy work practitioner as well. I specialize in emotion code, which essentially is removing our emotional baggage from our bodies. And so PTSD and trauma, that's not just for, our veterans. We hear about it a lot with our veterans who come home. And so, when the car backfires and they're 3 years out and they think they're back at war, why is that, right? And so it's the same thing with us. And so that is really where I focus my attention. I work a lot in that. I do also help people with past life work as well, because there's a lot of connection. We can be holding on to trauma from our past lives. And that has been my focus the last 2 years in business. And so it's been incredible, the stories that I have and the testimony that I have of people who are no longer on medication like you, Shannon, who physically feel better and feel lighter. And so that is the short version of what I do. And so I just absolutely love it. Good morning, Sharon. Auntie Woogle is here. Just had to say hello.
Awesome. Yay. And I appreciate you doing, I was actually going to ask you to do that. And I thought that you probably would just monitor, and I appreciate you doing that. I have experienced emotion code. That was an amazing avenue. I really like learning different modalities, and that is why we're here. And it enabled me to kind of fine tune or find a specific time to work on with my own practice, right? And so we worked through things, and I was like, something happened here, and here. And I'm like, I have no idea what happened when I was 7. So let's still research that. So I did a little research, right? And so that really helped me help my 7-year-old self when I could really go in there and hone on a specific time that there was an issue with my.
Well, I just need to shout you out really quick, because I also work with tapping as well. And tapping was something I actually started with Melanie a year and a half ago that I could not work through, and was very triggering for me. And Shannon and I did sessions together. We kind of showed each other our modalities that we use. And I was actually, after like almost a year, able to break through that block that I had with tapping. And so is now a personal practice that I use every single day. And so just within the 5 of us, you know what I mean? One-to-one person, then what do we give to other people? And now I teach other people how to do it. And because it's so profound. And so I just had to say that, Shannon. It's just been
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it is easy. And the tapping that I do with generational emotion mapping is very simple. It takes like what? A minute? I don't even know. Which is breath work and getting centered.
Yeah, that was me. I was like, what is she doing? How is she doing that? And you have a good practitioner when she literally stops and goes, stop trying to figure out what I'm doing. I'm like, I just need to know. I need to know what you're doing. She's like, no, you don't. Stop it. I'll tell you what I'm doing after. I'm like, okay.
Like, you are letting me go, sister. Come back in. Stop using your brain. Stop it. I need your subconscious to talk to me, not your brain. I was like, you're muddling the whole thing up. No, I'm just joking. It happens all the time. And you guys, women are the worst. Women are like, How exactly is this working? Exactly. I would like to control this, please. Can I just control how the outcome goes? Because I know exactly what I need to do. What I need is no. 90% is already written in your subconscious. Your
Yes.
brain doesn't know. Your body knows though. Right, Bridget? I mean, I understand. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, that was amazing. Thank you so much for that shout out. I appreciate that. And it is profound. I do it on myself, even if I'm not, like you said, tapping, you can use tapping and breath work anytime.
Yeah.
We have our breath all day long, right?
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Right.
Right. We pretty much need our breath, but we can actually get centered, aligned, focused, calmed, grounded, energized, however we want to with tapping in our breath work. So that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh my gosh, Miss Carrie.
So my background is actually in corporate America with computer training on the technical and the logical side of things. So when you're talking, Shannon, about how we as women want to figure things out, that's me through and through, because that's my background. That's what I've done. Let me figure out this software so that I can teach somebody how to make sense out of it and how to use it more efficiently. Probably close to, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago now, I started on my spiritual journey. And somewhere along that path, I picked up intuitive readings and just really, really kind of fell in love with that. But I struggled for the longest time to put that in balance with the logical side. So it was this logical brain side of me that had been me forever, the me that I had known, versus this intuitive side of me that felt so right and so aligned, yet they're two complete opposites. How do I merge this into one? So it took me a while to do that, but once I did, I realized that I have always been using my intuitive skills. I just didn't know that that's what I was doing. And when you tap in to your inner knowing, so much else becomes easier in life. You're not as much, for me anyways, my experience has been, me personally and the people I've worked with, it's not so much about remaining in control and trying to control everything. It's really just having faith that the universe, God, your angels, your guides, whatever terminology you want to use, there's a higher power that's looking out for you. And as long as you're trusting in that inner knowing, things have a tendency to fall into place the way they need to fall into place. Now, to be clear, that doesn't always mean that, we win the lottery and we get all the new things and life is grand, but we learn from those hardships. And some of those lessons are critical to other avenues or paths that we find ourselves on later in life. So for me, this journey has been amazing, and I've been able to help people really trust in their intuition with my intuitive readings. A lot of times people will come to me and I don't know a lot of the background. I don't know a lot of the history. I don't know what they've been sensing or feeling or what the universe has been telling them. But what comes out in the cards tends to validate what they already felt in their inner knowingness. So to give somebody the ability to trust in that intuition is so empowering. And that's what I'm all about, is being able to empower other people through whatever means that is, whether that's computer training and they're not afraid of computers anymore, or if that's simply just trusting in their intuition, knowing that they really do have the answers if they're willing to look within.
Sharon says she loves your readings. They're amazing. And I do second that.
Thank
That was
you.
amazing.
Yeah.
I loved your lives. I love your lives. And I have tried to, what word am I going to say? I have connected with you, and we just have not yet had a personal reading. But I love the fact that you said that we don't always listen to our inner self because we don't trust our inner self enough to be like, sister, you don't know what you're talking about. And it might go back to like something that we say all the time, right? When we conversation comes up a lot of like worth or I don't believe this is possible, or we always tend to, I know that if I want something, can I just
Instant
have it now?
gratification.
Like instant gratification, right? Like our kids are like, I want milk. Oh, you got milk? Here you go. Right? It's here right in front of you. But I think that I think everything happens in timing. Just like we're here today on June 1st, not necessarily May 31st, which is absolutely fine. We need to work on mental health every single day of our life, right? And that's what we're all here for in Woogle. I just feel like we're really trying to up-level our human design, up-level our ability to make change and to do for ourselves and to provide a different option for the clients that we serve, and the women or the men or the kids or whomever we can resonate with or whoever is watching us, which is amazing. And I feel like Bridget, I think you've said it best in your program the other day. When we're in connection, when we're in a group of people, the energy is so much better and higher. And so I'm so, again, grateful for this. And I know, Carrie, when we had a conversation, here I am having a conversation and seeing Carrie, if Carrie had this blip in her day to come in, and I like cried in the conversation. I'm like, what are you actually doing to me right now?
Sometimes you just need that outside perspective. Sometimes it's just somebody who's not in it with you to be able to look at that from a different level, that 30,000 foot view. Sometimes it's just the 10,000 foot view, to look at this and say, okay, well, you might be overthinking things a little bit, or have you considered, or it doesn't have to be this or that, it can be and it just takes that secondary perspective from somebody who isn't necessarily as close to the situation. And that's what it was the other day.
It was, I was like, I don't even know what's happening right now, but your intuitive skills are like freaking phenomenal. Thanks, sister.
Thank you.
And now I'm like wrapping my head around, how can I make this happen? Because she said I could.
Absolutely, you can. Where there's a will, there's a way.
There is. It was anyway. So, oh my gosh. See, and I think we just really need to trust ourselves a little bit. And if you know, Facebook land or whoever's watching this recording, if you need a little guidance in that, you can trust your intuition. Miss Carrie can absolutely help you with that. She is amazing at that. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Oh my gosh. Oh my
I'm
goodness. Oh my
honored to
gosh. Okay, Miss Melanie.
I muted myself because my cat was playing in the background. So I absolutely love what everybody shared so far. Like, I'm so humbled to be a part of this group, and I can't thank you enough, Shannon, for putting this together. So I was really inspired by what Carrie just shared, because Carrie, like you, it's been a leap of faith. You know, developing my intuitive gifts, figuring out not only how they can serve others, but what they can teach me has been a lifelong journey. And in preparation for today, I was thinking to myself, how did I really get started with energy work? Because if you look at who I am on paper, which is constantly changing, as Jess knows, it says that I'm a Reiki master teacher. And that's true. I practice Reiki and I teach it. And I teach it, you know, traditional Reiki. But that's not really what happens when people come to a session with me. They get Reiki and Jess pointed out, like, it's hard for me to sell what I'm doing because it's more, it's different.
It's never
not one thing.
Never.
Right. And it's hard to describe because it's unique for every person. It's customized for that client on that day. And it's a blank slate. They walk in as they are, they step into a safe space where they are loved as they are. And whatever it is that their inner physician is bubbling up to the surface to be healed or cleared, that's what we're addressing. And I've developed all these tools to work through whatever that is. And it may not be Reiki, it may be something else. It may not even be channeling.
Right.
It may be tapping, it may be a million different things. You know, it might come from the life coaching bucket, depending on their availability, because I've always been working with the angels. And the thing about the angels is that when they find a closed door, they look for an open window. And there are certain archangels that will morph, you know, into different gender frequencies or different ways of being, like different affects. Like anybody who works with Archangel Michael knows that he can be strong and soft, or strong and fierce. And so depending on what that person in front of me needs, something is going to shift to invite them into the healing space to make the most of it. And one of the things I've struggled with recently is how I can allow or invite a client to be a more active participant in their own healing so that their mental brain can integrate the healing that they're receiving. Because the brain requires an active ceremony to know that something is going to be different from here on out. You know, like how often, Carrie, do you do a reading for somebody and you send them home with homework? Because now they have to integrate that they've just received validation, that their intuition was correct, and they can't just coast, right? Because when they know better, now they're responsible for doing better or different.
Being active in that process.
Yeah, exactly. And with energy work, it's the same thing. And it's hard. Like, you know, I don't know, Bridget, if you struggle with this, but it's like lesson 1 is go home and drink water. And then what is lesson 2? Like, what's that second thing?
Yeah, they have to invest in the time for themselves. I mean, I'm just the teacher, and what worked for me can work for anyone, but they have to invest the time. And I think that is the hardest thing to get across everybody. And then again, trust. That is huge. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think trust is a two-way street, because not only does the person need to come in with a commitment to surrendering and allowing the healing that they are truly worthy of, regardless of their limiting beliefs. And hopefully that's something that's worked through in the session. Right. But it also requires trust from the practitioner. And, you know, when I think about how I really got started in energy work, I started my experience with Reiki in about 2005 was my first experience receiving it. I did my first level 1 training in 2008, and then I got my mastery in 2012. That's not really the truth of how I got started, because I was born a natural channeler. And I was always channeling things long before I knew what Reiki was. I was channeling other divine frequencies. And my brain today in this conversation goes back to my, I guess, freshman year of college, when I had a friend who was suffering from PTSD, and she would have anxiety attacks where she would regress to a younger age and she wouldn't know where she was. And I have memories, I have very vivid memories of what it was like trying to do my best to show up for that friend. And I have these inner stories of experiences that maybe not everybody can relate to, but it was me, you know, holding her as a thunder blanket and watching Mother Mary do incantations over her head, channeling the frequencies of archangels to try to keep her in a safe space so she wouldn't hurt herself. And I did that for a whole semester. And it's humbling to think that I was somebody who was called upon to be there for her in her time of need, and that she was able to survive that semester because God found a way. And Melanie knows nothing. Like, what do I know? I don't know anything. So when it's trial by fire like that, surrender is the first thing I learned, the very first thing I learned. And how that translates to my practice today is I don't scare easily. My faith matches my fear. If the pendulum can swing one way, it can swing the other. And a lot of what I do is just surrendering for the highest good of the client. Whatever that looks like, whether it's a reading or life coaching or energy work, and they're on the table in a passive state as I'm working through their energy bodies. It's a lot of surrendering, and it's a lot of believing that, you know, if I set the intention that only that which is for their highest good is what is occurring, and I use my skills and gifts to create that sacred space like all of you do in your practices, then it's safe for them to allow themselves to receive those deeper levels of healing. And I think that's really the start for anybody who's listening today, who's thinking about maybe trying out a different modality to help you on your journey. The first step is understanding that that love is already available to you, and you just have to shift your intention to receive it.
I love that. I forgot I was muted. Melanie, thank you for that. Because I think that I think we've heard it one or two times already. Like, you have to trust the process, but you have to kind of resonate the fact that it's okay, that I'm going to be safe when I do this. And sometimes it's a little scary to think that there is a different opportunity to healing. But I think in every single situation, we need to look at it, and we need to question, and we need, in every, whatever we're going to, not necessarily be scared of it, but we need to do a little research, like Bridget talks about, right? With whatever we're going to put in or around or on our body to support our system. And I am a person that's had a lot of both. And so I grew up with Western medicine, and it inhibited a lot of what I could do, and inhibited a lot in just my feeling, my life. It stunted my growth. It made me feel a little nutty. I constantly, like, I was on prednisone until I was probably in junior high. Like, I just remember that I was like stuck to that, right? And one of the reasons that we're here is to realize that maybe you don't have to be stuck to that. Maybe there's a meshing, maybe there is I can lessen this if I do more of this, or maybe it's like Bridget and I'm like, we no longer are taking Synthroid because we're doing these other things, right? Or tapping in, or we're learning more about how our body works. Maybe we're doing some research on like how can food assist me? How can movement assist me? How can I raise my emotions so that my physical health is better, right? How much gratitude can I give my body right now for my stomach? Like, I did this yesterday. I was like, okay, stomach, I love you so much. Not sure what I gave you yesterday, but I am so grateful that you're going to process whatever this is, right? I know, I mean, I talked about this emoji. I was like, yep, still can't eat gluten. Right? And so, like, I just feel like we really do need to research everything. I think we do need to ask the question, like, if I'm gonna do this, what is this? What is the side effect of this going to be? The side effect of energy work. I'm sorry, Jess.
No, I was just going to say, it's harder to take better care of yourself. It's harder to eat better. It's hard. It's like, and it's not, right? But we tell ourselves that, well, how could I not eat gluten? Well, how could I not? How could I not? How could I not? And we're just so programmed to do things one way that, like, actually sidestepping yourself and going, I'm going to try this modality. I'm going to try to do this. Maybe I'm going to try to eat this. It's so much harder. I've realized, just like in my own journey, the last thing I did was food. I did everything else, and I still was like, oh, there's something missing. And a good friend of ours, some of us know, who owns Hidden Gem, Chris, she's a holistic nutritionist. She's like, did you change food yet? I'm like, did not. She's like, that's the hardest one, but you have to do it. That's next. And like, and it's like, but it's so true.
It's huge. I used to skip that. Yep. In my presentation, I do this class when I teach my oil stuff, right? And my oil jam is, I used to skip this part. We actually can't skip this part. Like, I used to be like, oh, if you got 3 hours of sleep, if you, blah, blah, the food is really not that big of a deal. It is a big deal.
Yep. Huge deal.
It is a big deal how your brain works. It's a big deal how your body works. It's a big deal how your everything is functioning differently if you feed your body good nutrition. It is crazy. I no longer skip it when I teach my classes.
Yay. So the other thing too, though, Shannon,
go ahead.
I was just going to say the other thing too is what Jess said before about food. Yes, it can be the hardest thing. It often is the hardest thing for most people, myself included. I'm not excluding myself from that group, but our mind is such a powerful tool in overcoming anything and literally everything that you want to overcome. I grew up with my mom telling me constantly, where there's a will, there's a way. And I wasn't supposed to be able to afford college. I didn't think I'd ever pay off my bills. I didn't think I'd ever break free of some of my childhood traumas, all these different things. Bridget probably didn't think she would ever be able to get off Synthroid. You too. Jess didn't think she'd be able to break free from some of the emotions that were holding her back. Like all these different things that we think in our brain we cannot do. But if we shift that, if we just make a tiny shift, even just getting up in the morning and when your feet hit the floor saying, this is going to be a great day. You don't necessarily have to feel that in your bones the first few times that you're saying that, but the more you do that, the more you're conditioning your brain to think about everything differently. Not just how your day is going to go, but how easy it's going to be to remove dairy from your diet. Hello, that's me. How easy it's going to be to lessen the gluten intake. And then once you've lessened it, maybe eliminate it if you think that that's something that is going to have a better impact on your life. It all comes down to what we are programming our brains. And oftentimes we just take in whatever society tells us because that's what we've always known. It's tough to break free from the societal teachings and beliefs and actually start listening to your intuition, start investigating some of these studies and scientific things that have been done, researched and proven to work effectively across the board with a simple mind shift.
Kaleidoscope. That's what I say to people who's used a kaleidoscope as a kid, right? Probably almost all of us, right? We're all still in that age where those were a thing when we had those kind of toys before you just look at it and you just shift it just a little bit. That was my therapist. She'd always say, just it's about one small change. You shift the kaleidoscope, the whole picture changes. Yeah. And it was that and a couple other things that I used just to work through a really horrible depression a couple of years ago. It was like, I can get up out of bed today. I can make it. I can brush my hair. I can brush my teeth and I can take the dog outside. But that felt so hard. And it was like, okay, imagine the kaleidoscope shifting just a little bit. And if I get up and do these things, what will happen on the other side of that? And so it's amazing what it's all in here though. It is really all in here. It's amazing.
It absolutely is in your brain, your mindset. Absolutely. You can tell your brain, you can tell your mind you feel really well, even if you don't. And you can tell your brain and your mind you feel like crap because you don't want to go to work or you don't want to take a test, and your body will follow suit. Your brain is amazing, right? I mean, did you guys not ever? I mean, I did because I didn't want to take the science class. I was thinking, I told this to Bridget the other day. I didn't want to take the science test. I'm like, oh, I don't feel good. And then but pretty soon you didn't feel good and your mom let you stay home from school and you didn't have to go to take the science test. I needed to bridge it because that's not my forte, math and science. Anyway, fine.
They did studies where they told two different groups of people. One group, they hooked them up to sleep paraphernalia to just monitor their sleep. They told one group, you guys slept really well last night. You're probably going to have a great day. And they told the other group, you slept really horrible last night. I don't know how your day's going to go. And it was completely random. It had nothing at all to do with the actual
results.
The quality of their sleep. That was the word I was looking for. And what they told people manifested.
Yeah.
Even though they may have had a crummy night of sleep, they were told they had a great night and they had a great day, and vice versa. So it really is what you think and what your intention is.
Yeah. It's the placebo effect, that's why sometimes the pills work and sometimes they won't. And I know when I was putting that Synthroid in my mouth, I would be like, oh yeah, like this is going to help, very sarcastic, and it didn't. And going back to the food too, it is a choice. I mean, now it gets to the point now where I can eat whatever, including gluten. I mean, but I know it's going to lower my vibration. I know I'm not going to feel that fantastic. I have the tools, so I'm not going to the ER. So that's great. But it comes to a point where I want the healthy stuff. I want the fresh stuff. I mean, I'll definitely dark chocolate every now and then, but the ice cream, you know, the chocolate cake, it comes to the point where you're free of those feelings and desires. And then you realize, hey, does this serve me? That's what I want to have. I want to have this nice salad because it's going to make me feel well. And it serves me. And when you get to that point, that's true freedom, because I fought with my weight all my life, and always saw myself as fat. Now it's like, no, healthy. That's what I go for. Healthy. This feels good to me. And when it feels good, you want to do it more and you shine. And then other people are like, what do you have? I want to do what you're doing because you look pretty fabulous, you know? So it all works, but it's all about sharing, and what worked for me, what worked for you, you know, it's common language too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that share. Absolutely. And it does, because if we feel good, then we shine, right? And then everybody's like, what are you doing that makes, like, how are you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or at 7 o'clock? And my mom goes, how can you do all the things you do? Like,
Prepare myself.
okay.
Yeah.
First of all,
yeah,
there's so many things, right? But I was like, first of all, I like eat, you know, like good food, and I take vitamins and, you know, like that. But it's not like she doesn't do that. I'm just saying, like, people ask, like, how do you have the stamina to do all of these things? And I was like, I just can, because I'm telling myself I can, and we're just not slowing down until I'm done, right? But anyway, yes, I love that. It's all about mindset. Everything begins with that shift. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. And that conversation is amazing. Miss Amanda White, 5:42 a.m., sister.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh my goodness.
Winning your day.
We're so lucky you love us this much.
I know. I was like, I'm so lucky Amanda loves me so much. She's going to be here.
Right? My computer, on the other hand, was not having it this morning. So I apologize for my tardiness. I was up.
We still love you. We're glad you're here.
I'm so glad
No
to be
need for
here with you,
apologies.
lovely
We've all
lady.
had tech issues this morning, I think.
I think we all did. Bridget found me because I just put in the energy that she would find me. So she was here and didn't have a link. So
I love that.
We just created this goodness together. So the question we're asking, I don't know if you were here when we first started, Miss Amanda, is just introducing yourself and your favorite modality that people come get assistance from you for. Like, what do you love to teach people or to share goodness of? Who are you? Where are you coming from?
I'm Amanda, coming from AZ.
Easy, baby.
So it's been a journey for sure. This is a question I love answering, let me tell you.
I didn't say what you do.
That is true. You reworded
Amanda
it
White,
for me.
what do you do? I said, Amanda White, what if I came to you and be like, okay, what can you help me with right now? I have
Well, like Melanie said, we don't, again, this question, we don't just do one thing. It's let me assess where you're at and let's go from there. When it comes to healing, because you don't know what that person needs, you don't. So you feel it out. I mean, you feel the feelings and then you figure it out from there. And then, you know, it's about movement. I am all about movement. I am all about moving your body. And it's funny because when I go to write copy, I'm like, this is not Amanda. Amanda doesn't write paragraphs and paragraphs of copy. I just don't. I go back and I went back in my head the other day and I'm like, well, who are you? Like, to the core, how did you express yourself as a kid? And dancing, it was all dance. You guys, I lived at my dance studio, literally lived. And then I started teaching there at 14. So I lived movement. movement has always been, and I didn't know like I was actually doing my body a fabulous thing back then. Who knew?
Mhm.
You know, so it has always been a part of me. So movement, any kind of movement, whether it be Pilates, it could be yoga, it could be Horton, it could be modern, ballet, anything along those lines. I literally do a ballet class every morning to get my energy going. Yesterday, I was teaching these amazing kids and I'm like, we're all energy. And they're like, what? And I'm like, you didn't know that? Like they should have known that. And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, let me show you. And we did an awesome little like hand energy. And they're like, Anna, I can feel it circling in my hands. I'm like, because we're all energy. I just proved it. Like it's again, meeting people where they're at and showing them what I never had. That's really kind of what, and I got all different spectrums right now. I've got littles that I'm teaching. I got seniors that I'm teaching. So it's very interesting to have everything in between too. It's nice. It's a variety. Same thing every day. Bah.
Molly
We're
says,
never gonna do the same thing every day.
Molly says the energy you're bringing at 5:45, girl, stands up.
Right? Gotta give you an idea. I wasn't even, my
Sharon.
body said no,
No.
5:30. My body said, all right, at 6.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Amanda is the
Oh my
sunshine.
gosh.
Love you.
That is
I
true.
love you all.
Love Auntie Woogle. Auntie Woogle's like, Amanda's the sunshine. Like she totally is.
Yes,
Thanks.
you are sunshine. Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. So I feel like I don't need me going last here. I don't even know what to say in this thing. First of all, thank you guys so much for sharing, and this conversation has been absolutely amazing so far. And I just think that what I hear, and this is what I kind of do, and I thought that I was a little bit like I feel people. And I feel like we all feel people here, right? And I think growing up, I was like, I feel you, and that's not really great feeling you.
Yeah.
Or, oh my gosh, I want more of you, right? Like, let me go on this side over here because you have so much energy, and we're gonna go do this. We're gonna play volleyball. We're gonna have a great time, and we gotta, right? And so I think that we all do that whole feeling people out because we do have a variety of things we can offer a human in real time when they come to us. And in my what I give is generational emotional mapping, but you guys, I do so many other things. Like sometimes we'll just come to the table, and if I have a client, sometimes we're just hashing it out. We're just having a conversation. GEM never happens. An oil class never happens. The I-12 scan never happens. It's like we just sit and I hold space, and we just let them tell me what they're going through, what they have been through, what they think they might need to work on. And then we sit and hold space, and then we figure out from there. Like, I just really want to connect with people to help them in any facet that they need help with. Generational emotional mapping is really connecting to your emotions in your subconscious that are negative. It's really going into that emotion code, if you will, or the emotional DNA, finding that map and releasing those negative emotions by pouring in positive affirmations and changing what we think about, right? And when we do that, it really feels differently in real time, and your body does have a process. So yep, ladies, we all said, like, oh, there's always homework. Drink a ton of water, because we hold all of these things. Like if we're going to do a workout class, you're going to do a handstand challenge with Amanda, you're going to have to really, first you need Deep Blue, and you're going to drink a lot of water with lemon in it, because you're going to need that, because your muscles are going to be like, what the heck? Anyway, side note, because I've been doing that, trying to get my ass above my head, just saying, I have done it, people, I can do this. But I think that we just meet people where they are and we feel them. And as we grow our intuitive skills, as we grow our modalities, we know that it worked. I hear and I know that it works because it worked for me, right? And I know that it works because it's worked for these clients for these different things, right? I have clients come to me for all different things, not just emotional wellness, right? Some physical things, some trauma, absolutely. And you guys, I know that we do think about trauma as like PTSD or my grandpa was in the war or I was in the war, that kind of thing. Trauma is really whatever your brain is picturing. And if you wake up and you're like, that bothers you still, or if you think about that still, it's a traumatic experience, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be when you were 3 or 7. It doesn't have to be like domestic violence like me, or it could be something else, right? Conversation with Melanie, I was like, okay, so I had asthma my entire life. Apparently this is a trigger and we're going to have to work on this with Jem. I was like, these things come up all the time, right? That was a trauma event, like different in a long event, but different things happen in your life, whether it's a car crash or a disease, or somebody told you something that made you feel horrible and not worthy of something. That can be a trauma event, right? And it's how you react people or situations for the rest of your life. And when we can relieve those emotions, when we can lower that low vibration and raise our vibration so that we know, our subconscious knows we're gonna be freaking okay, right? That's when we can live our life for ourselves. That's when we can be intuitive to ourselves, and we can really have a game-changing effect on our physical body. And that's why we're here. Because we have an opportunity to really heal ourselves from the inside out. We have an opportunity without having to leave our home to up-level our mental health. You guys, it is a big deal. Mental health and addiction are a big deal. I've dealt with this. I worked in this field for 20 years. I've dealt with depression. I deal with anxiety every single day. I work on it. I tell it it's going to be okay. And I use essential oils and tapping and emotional wellness every day, all day long, to keep myself to say, Shannon Morrison, you are a fucking rock star. You got this, right? Because we can. I've been on antidepressants, right? You guys, it's okay if you're on them. I absolutely feel like there is a meshing, like I said before, doesn't have to be all of this, right, Carrie, or this. There can be a little bit of this and a little bit of this, right? But at the end of the day, feeling the feels, but filling your body with goodness, changing the way we think, changing the thoughts into your brain, or the thoughts that you think about every single day, having mantras. We all do mantras, having positive affirmations come through your phone, put them on your body. I always have a bracelet or something of gratitude on me. Having a gratitude practice, putting good food in yourself, drinking water, getting adequate sleep. Some of us had less sleep today. Thank you so much for being here. And I just think all of it together is going to give our body an opportunity, right? All of us together, and there's many different modalities. We just have 6 different options here that are in the wellness pyramid, right? Movement, sleep, affirmations, gratitude, food, dealing with emotional health as it happens, not shoving it down. You guys, if you feel in a feel for 16 seconds, you can deal with it. If you don't and you shove it away, it's going to take you 16 years to overcome. Okay. 16 seconds, feel the fucking feels. Okay. Because it's going to take you 16 years to get over that situation, right? You're going to shove it down and it's going to cause you disease. You're going to shove it down. It's going to cause you mental health issues. You're going to shove it down. You're going to lose partners and business partners and friends and family. And pretty soon you're not able to get out of bed, right? And so you got to feel the feels, however it be. It's going to suck sometimes. It's going to be painful sometimes, but you do have opportunity to meet people here in this community. In this group, you now know our names, you know the different modalities, a couple of them. We all have an umbrella of goodness to show. And I know we have a question, Miss Jessica. What is the question before I start? Shannon Church here. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. We can keep going here until we answer these questions. So we've had 2 come in. Sharon asked, Shannon, have you helped anyone with severe OCD?
Yes. I think anything that you want to help can be helped.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is all up to you and what you want help with. I have, oh my gosh, there's just a wide range. I'm helping somebody right now that has skin cancer.
Yeah.
So where are we working with? Ladies, we're starting with the gut, right? We're giving our gut love and we're giving our body love, right? Because that's where it starts with, right? Because right now we don't like what we see or what we feel, and we're going to change that with the emotions that we have inside of us. And so I think that everything, I know that in my situation, in my anxiety and my depression that I experienced, my body or my shell was the last thing that I loved, right? I had to work on the inside to make the outside resonate with what was going on inside. And some people are like, might be like, all of a sudden people like will see me still to this day. They're like, what have you been doing? What have you done? Oh my God, you look so good. Oh my gosh, you're like seriously 44? Yeah, I'm 44. Oh my gosh, you have a kid graduating in high school? Like, yes. 5 years ago, this shell wasn't like this. You guys, 10 years ago, I looked a hell of a lot older and not as healthy and not as vibrant as I do today because of the inside work that I did. This journey didn't just happen. Boom, Shannon Morrison got married almost a year ago, and it's still hard. Shannon Morrison is this amazing, whatever. No, and I still have shitty days. You just got to tell yourself you're different. You got to tell your brain it's different, right? But if you work on what's inside and you continue to do it, consistency, you can't go to the gym. You can't go to one ballet class and no ballet, right? You can't go to the gym and come out with 6-pack abs for the rest of your life. We work on mindset every single freaking day, right? So yes. Any other questions, Jess?
Yeah, so we had just some people commenting, so spot on, transition into coping through multiple pathways of healing is where it's at, very much true. Question that we got was from Zena. Do you ladies feel that when you have had negative energy poured into you for long periods of time, that when we accept that as our normal and begin attracting more negativity?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you guys think? I absolutely think that what you think about, you bring about. The energy that you are in. Like now, if I'm in negative, I'll just speak first and then we'll go around the table. This is a great question, Zena. Thank you so much for asking. If I am in a space, like you guys, even if I go to Walmart, have you ever been to the grocery store and been like, I didn't get out of here?
Yeah.
You right? So first of all, I protect myself all the time. I always have crystals. I always have essential oils on me all the time, in me and on me. You guys, I use frankincense and copaiba every single morning for my anxiety and protection of my central nervous system so that I am protected from outside energies. But I do like your vibration, everything about you, your anger, your hostility, the words you use, everything lowers if you are around negative energy. Do you guys feel that? Like, holy cow, I'm like, okay,
smoke.
I can't be here anymore.
Yeah, it is like secondhand smoke. It's true.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that you can't shift it.
Correct. That's what I was going to say. You know,
you can absolutely shift it. The thing to keep in mind, though, and I'll let everybody else expand on your thoughts as well, you didn't get to that point overnight.
Correct.
So to your point, Shannon, feel the feels for 16 minutes or seconds or whatever, or experience them for the next 16 years.
Right.
It took you a long time to get to the point where you felt like this is your normal. You're not going to go back to or create a different normal feel overnight, but it will happen a hell of a lot quicker with dedicated time and focused energy than it took you to get to that point where the negativity is your normal.
Correct.
Because where there's a will, there's a way. It's not a one-to-one.
No, it's not. And I feel like I worked as a teacher for a couple of years in a really, really negative environment, but I never became it because in my eyes, I'm like, I'm not going to change for just because you're miserable. Misery loves company. We've heard that expression our whole lives, right? I came in with a smile on my face. I said hello to every single fucking teacher. I walked into the office. I brought coffee. I brought donuts. I was like, that was just my vibration. And so, like Shannon said, you're going to have bad days, right? You're not going to always feel like that is who you are. And when I left, I had a lot of people reach out to me like, you really did bring sunshine to this place. Everybody here is even more miserable now. And there's definitely a notice and a shift with you without you here. And so, yes, I think that if you are in an environment that's really toxic for a long time, if you're around that, absolutely, that can definitely be your reality. But as quick as you can, Carrie, you're right. You can't just shift out of it that fast, but you can wake up and say, you know what? Nope, we're not going to do this today. It's going to be good. It's going to be fine. And so Marisol says, whatever you dwell on, you dwell in. Sharon says, I physically get sick around negativity, believe it or not. Yeah. You can feel it when you're so connected. Yeah. And everybody's connected, by the way. You know when somebody's looking at the back of your head, you'll look around and go, who the fuck's looking at me, right? It's like we are all connected. We are all energy, right? And so if you are feeling that way, there are ways, and Shannon started to kind of talk about that. Have something on you. I wear this every single day. This is my power piece. This is my mountain. This is what I climb every day. If I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling out of place or I don't know what I'm doing, I just put my hand on my heart and it's right here. When I need my ancestral piece, I have this here. This is my grandfather. Like, have jewelry, something, a scent, like Shannon was saying, an essential oil, something on you to refer back to kind of like bring you back to yourself. That's what I would say is.
Yeah.
And there is ways, like if you guys, and give yourself
be gentle
grace
with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely ways. Like, I love what you were saying about that. Like, having something on you that reminds you that you have the power to reset the reality you're creating for yourself.
Yeah.
And like the thing about Zena's question that really jumped out at me was the phrase pours into. Like when you feel like negativity is pouring into you from this external source. And, when we're children, when we're, 2, 3, 4 years old, we are blank slates in a lot of ways, looking for our external environment to validate and teach us who we are. Mm-hmm. So as adults, a lot of the challenges that we have when we are in negative environments is that they are actually reinforcing negative programming that we have stored in us at a younger age, because we either didn't receive validation or we received validation of the opposite of our truth and started to internalize it as an act of survival. And so one of the things that I struggle with to this day, being the youngest of 4 siblings, is confirmation bias, where I'll walk into an environment that is inherently not high vibrational. Maybe it's Walmart, maybe it's something else. And I see evidence that supports something in me, a low vibration that resonates with something inside of me that sounds like the disembodied talking heads of my brothers putting me down. And that's not necessarily the reality that I'm living in today, but it's my internal reality that I'm still spinning in at all my various ages, because we're very complex beings. And so, like Jess said, having something that you can feel when you put your hand over your heart that reaffirms the truth of who you are. Having modalities like essential oils that create a different vibrational reality to step into, or that activate a part of you that feels empowered to overcome and refute whatever those messages are, whether they're internal or external. Knowing how to do, inner child healing, learning the tools in other people's toolboxes that can work for you so that you can have a conversation with whatever part of you is hurting the most so that you can reparent yourself. Stuff like that is really, really helpful.
I think first too, you need to congratulate yourself that you have that self-awareness, that you realize that it's not your energy, it's someone else's energy. That alone, I think, brings you back into grace, where you can have grace for yourself. But everything is energy. And what I love to, you always have your hands with you. So worry, fear, anger, these are the top 3 that are happening right now. So just grab all 3, take a breath. You can put it over your heart if you want. And just breathe and just say, I am safe, I am loved, and make a white bubble around you, and only benevolent beings may enter. And I do this when I go into Walmart, because it is a very angry and fight, flight, or fear state. And you can't, that's their story. That's their journey. They're figuring out for themselves. Have some grace for them too. You don't know what's happening to them. but it comes from self. You have to have that self-awareness and then decide, you know what, I'm not going to take on those energies. I'm not going to go down this path. Be your own experiment. Say, I'm going to try something different because I heard something today. I'm going to do this today. And again, when you smile, you naturally have all these good endorphins come in, whether you're happy or not, it doesn't matter. Your body doesn't know. So naturally just start smiling, and seriously, people will think you're crazy. Hey, I always say I'm crazy good. Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. Words have so many different vibrations, but it's your perception of that word. Someone can call you a, well, I don't want to swear, but something
bad
bad.
thing.
But it is all about how you want to interpret it. So again, I will never see fuck as a negative. To me, it's an adjective, it's a verb, it's all kinds of funness. So
It's true.
Yeah.
They all carry
And
vibration.
it's perception, right? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that is amazing. And the other day for the first time, you guys, I had walked out of my house without any crystals, without any essential oils. I did not have my black bracelet on, and I did gem. And I was like, what in the actual crap are you thinking, sister? And so like, it is a thing that I have to really protect myself. I am an empath. Like, I can be on Zoom and I feel you. Okay. Like, people are like, you cannot connect with people on Zoom. And I'm like, oh, in about 20 seconds, I got you. I'm holding space for you because I feel you inside my soul. Right. And so if I get on the computer, if you're on Zoom and you're like, oh my gosh, my shoulders are hurting, I feel like heavy, all of a sudden I'm emotional, you're carrying somebody else, right? And so you can use essential oils like rosemary, frankincense, all these different tea tree, right? You can use crystals. You can also, like we've said here, is just picture whatever color you want it to be. If you want that freaking bubble to be hot freaking pink, right? I'm going to put a hot pink bubble around me as a protection because I am going to hold my own space. I am not going to allow anybody else's energy to come inside me. I am a vessel for this. I can do this. I am safe. I am secure. Do the finger play that Bridget was talking about. Move your body, shake your hips, move around a little bit, shake it off. And you can protect yourself. I did it for the first time the other day, and I was just like, okay, you did a great job. I did not take on anything that this person was letting go or releasing. I protected myself with this rose colored bubble. So if you have that and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize we were doing this. We're going to just say Walmart. I didn't realize I was going to Walmart today, right? That's just the thing, right? We're just our conversation today. And you happen to go in there, you're going to just be like, okay, well, I'm going to try this. Just try it and see what happens. We're just giving you ideas, different ways to raise your vibration, different ways to protect yourself. And if you connected with a human here, you guys know how to get a hold of us. Find us on social media, connect with us, get a reading.